Welcome to the business segment. I'm holding down the fort for the business news anchor. Kenya is among African countries that are pushing for remodeling of the global financing architect to allow African countries to get fair ratings from rating agencies. African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina says that fair ratings will see African countries' debt reduce and a kitty created to protect African economies from various economic and social shocks.
The African Development Bank says 22 countries are facing debt distress due to high interest rates charged on commercial loans. Kenya and other African countries are calling for a review and remodeling of risk assessments to reduce interest rates on loans advanced to African countries.
And Africa is the only continent that does not have a risk participation agreement. There is European financial stability mechanism.
Fair rating by rating agencies will save the continent 2 trillion shillings in interest charged on commercial loans. That accounts for 48% of the total loans advanced to Africa.
If Africa's risks are properly and fairly estimated, that African countries will save $75 billion a year just in debt service that they have.
Speaking during the ongoing African Development Bank annual meeting, AFDB President says Africa is also asking for an increase of contingency funding from the current 4.7 trillion shillings to over 79 trillion shillings annually to protect economies from shocks.
There's a lot of discussion going on now about how to relook at the quota mechanisms and make sure that the future that is based on need, not just the amount of quota that you have.
African countries have also been encouraged to consider borrowing in their local currencies to protect their reserves and also consider increasing their domestic resource mobilization to reduce debt.
Resource mobilization is a whole family of instruments, tax instruments, and how you can optimize them. How you can actually even come up with instruments that crowd in private sector.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.